As long as we got levels, I think we're live.
We got levels. I hear you. I hear me. I mean, I don't know what else you need to hear.
Then I think we are live. And I'll be honest, too much dive into today. What do you say we just dive right in? Just get right at it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do our YouTube only preview because there's definitely plenty of things to talk about.
Right? So definitely trade deadline today, everything going on today. So let's kick it off. Let's have some fun.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. So it's good to be back again, yeah. Trade deadline day
Trade deadline
in
day.
the NFL.
I saw a tweet. Most trades. There was like 8 trades today. The most second most trades since like 1995. There was like 10 in like 98 or something like that. Another one like 2000 something where there was like 7. So
Well, let's start with an early one then, because we got a lot to talk about today. And with that, I mean, listen, a big part of today was people getting ready for the because you're either buying or selling, and some teams like the Jets were absolutely selling. But before we get into the Jets, because I do have my cousin Mike that wants to join us and talk some Jets, I got to get your opinion first on, is this the tackle that Jerry Jones was so excited for? Is this finally the tackle we've all heard about that's going to change the course of Dallas's future for years and years to come?
look, I am a big fan of Quentin Williams. I think he's definitely one of the more talented interior players in the league. But after the embarrassment that I watched last night, this team needed much, much more than simply a D tackle and a middle linebacker who got benched for another player on the only defense that's worse than Dallas in the entire league. I think I don't know how I feel overall because like when they traded the first round pick is where I got a little bothered because like to me, right, it's like they're giving up the 2027 first round pick and the terms of the trade is that the Jets get whichever pick is higher. So if let's say, God forbid, right, as Dak gets older, right, like he's 2 of the last 3 years, he's missed a season with injuries. Like if Dak goes down, right, Dallas is now a top 10 pick, and that's what you're going to send to the Jets, and you're going to get the Green Bay pick, which is probably in the early to late 20s. So I don't know how I feel about it, and I think I saw somebody that I follow on Twitter say it the best, right? Like at this point as a Cowboys fan, like especially if you're a veteran Cowboys fan, right? I mean, I've been 34 years of my life I've been a Cowboys fan, right? Like you're just at the point now where you just don't trust anything the organization does. Right? If they made 0 moves, I probably would have been pissed sitting here, right? They make 2 moves to help bolster the defense. I probably should be somewhat happy about it, and I'm numb to it, I guess you would say. Like I don't know if there's a better way for me to say it. Like I don't. It doesn't create excitement.
I feel like if they would have beat Arizona, you would have had a little more excitement today.
I would agree.
Because you would feel like, okay, all right, well, not only did we get the win, we beat Arizona, but now we're upgrading the team a little bit. You can start feeling good. But after a loss, to go out and make a trade like this, to me, I'm not sure how good you could feel because at this point in the year, season's kind of lost. And you're kind of looking for picks. You're looking for picks, not necessarily players. So this is where, yeah, Williams is a great player, but is he the right fit right now, or is this just Jerry Jones again overcompensating for getting rid of Micah and now the defense being one of the worst, if not the worst, in the NFL?
They're so bad. It's the worst. If you want proof of how bad they are, the mics captured it last night during the game after Arizona scored a touchdown. And they're like, one of the players is like, this is so easy. Like one of the offensive players literally got caught saying how easy it was to move the ball against that defense. Like, I don't know if there's a higher level of disrespect you can have in a professional sporting event where when your opponent literally says to their teammates, "This is easy." Like it shouldn't, like, you're grown ass men getting paid to play this game, and not to mention the pride factor of it, and your opponent's literally laughing.
But that's just it. Is Dallas at a point now where they're not even really they're just going through the motions. Like, they're not really invested. They don't, like, yeah, there's always that competitive spirit amongst people, and that's what makes them get out on the field. But really, outside of that, like, there's no motivation for this team. They've had the life sucked out of them, and as long and I hate to say it, but as long as Jerry Jones is helming it, like, how does it turn around? Because if Dak's down and CD's down, you have all your top guys that are down, like, they're not feeling good about themselves, they're not feeling good about the team. How do you right the ship? And getting a new tackle isn't the way to right a ship, in my opinion.
No, or getting a new middle linebacker who, once again, right, was benched for somebody else on the only defense in the league that's worse than yours. Like, the guy was he's a captain on the Bengals. All right, cool. So his teammates respected him, right? They voted him to be captain. In the last 3 years, he's led the team in tackles, but he still was benched for somebody else. So what's that tell you? Like, where's his real value? Like, is it he was benched because the Bengals are investing in the future and trying to develop one of their young guys, or what? But, like, at 3-5-1, like, you also got to keep in mind the teams with losing records that are ahead of Dallas are all teams that beat Dallas. And then when you look at Dallas's schedule for the rest of the year, they've got again. The Commanders are probably the only team right now that I'm naming that I think would be a guaranteed win for them. Like, where are you looking, right? Like, where are you looking at this season and saying it can be salvaged?
So who is the linebacker they got? Because I'm trying to look, and they're not even mentioning
Logan Wilson, the middle linebacker for the Cincinnati
That's
Bengals.
what I mean. It's like, I'm on ESPN, I'm on Dallas's page, and there's no mention of him whatsoever. Like, literally zero mention. There's 50 people talking about the D tackle, and nobody talking about the linebacker that you're mentioning. It's just weird. Weird. But that just goes to show you how much Logan Wilson moved the needle. Because it doesn't. It clearly doesn't even.
No.
It doesn't even move a keystroke for ESPN to give a damn about it. Like, literally doesn't give a damn whatsoever.
No, and again, he was benched for somebody else on the only defense that's worse than yours statistically. Like,
yeah,
that tells you all you need to know. And look, the guy might come in and be an upgrade from what Dallas has out there. That's like going from, like, a 1990, Ford Explorer to a 1991 Ford Explorer when... Is it really that big of a deal in 2025? Like, that to me is really what you're talking about. Like, it's not... You didn't upgrade, like, drastically, right? Like, you maybe went half a ring up the ladder, right? Like, you didn't even get one full more step up the ladder. The only thing I would say is that with Quinnen Williams and with Wilson, right, both guys are on a contract through next year. Quinnen Williams is going to want a new contract. Dallas just paid one of their Osa Izigidua. I really am going to mess up his last name, so I'm just going to say Osa. They just paid him, and you got Clark. Also, like, all three of these guys are set to make $20 million or more next year. You're not going to pay three guys on the interior defensive line $20 million a year. You're just not going to do it. So who's the odd man out, right? You got to guess Clark, right, because he's the oldest of the group. So your assumption's going to be him. So there goes the guy that was included in your trade for Micah Parsons. I like I said, it's disappointing to say, but it's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. Like, and I agree, right? I think a lot of the emotion for myself and other Cowboys fans out there right now is simply the fact that after last night, why would you have hope in this season?
You know,
out of the 53 or 46 men that were active in last night's game, Dak Prescott was the only one that looked like he gave it his all for 60 full minutes. Literally looked like the only one. And how is he repaid then on the final possession? Javonte Williams isn't paying attention to the clock and doesn't just get down so that they can run out and kick a field goal to make it a 7-point game. Instead, he fumbles, puts the game on ice. But then they do get the ball back, and it's followed by 3 sacks in a row and a 4th and 28. Heave it for what the hell, why not? Dak Prescott interception. And all the Dak haters are out there and be like, oh, there he is throwing another pick. When it's like, dude, he's literally the only one out here trying. Like, the one receiver literally stood there like this, waiting for the ball to come to him. Like,
I just don't think
what are
they
you
have.
doing?
I don't think they have the care. They don't have the urgency. They don't
Why
have
would
the
you?
one. But that's just it. I think that Jerry Jones has sucked it at him.
Jerry, it always. I don't care what it is, sports, life, work, relation. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like it all starts at the top. Every single thing we do, right? When you look at the company that you work for, if the person you report to doesn't show you that they're fully invested, why are you going to be fully invested, right? So for these guys, right, they're going to play, but like we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was with Cincy, right? Like if you're not invested because of your commitment to your organization, your coaching staff, the teammates around you, you're playing for yourself. And when you play for yourself, it leads to horrible things because you're just trying to make that splash play, make a name for yourself, do what you can to make money. Jerry Jones is the ultimate example of playing for himself. He made it very clear just the other day, like literally quoted on the radio, like there's recordings of it, of him saying it, that when things die down, he finds a way to stir shit up because he cares more about attention.
He does.
Than he does winning. And for him, in the back of his head, I don't care what he says to anybody, in the back of his head, as an owner, he's got 3 Super Bowl rings. That's more than a lot of owners can say in the entire NFL. He rests his hat on that one, and now he's got the most valuable franchise in the world of sports, right? He's more valuable than the soccer clubs out in Europe. He's more valuable than any other NFL team, NBA teams, there's not a team in the world that is listed as a higher value franchise than the Dallas Cowboys. And that to him is the only win he needs.
Yes, but that is right. That's a very right now thing. And I think that if the trend continues and the Cowboys continue to suck, and it seems to be Jerry's fault, that value isn't going to go up. It'll probably stay the same, and other clubs will catch them or pass them, and it'll probably be one of those soccer clubs because, to be honest, they're worth way more than what the Cowboys are because they pay their guys way more than what the Cowboys are. So if you tried to buy one of those teams and pay those contracts, like you got to buy the whole kit and caboodle. You know what I mean? Like, so I know what it's evaluated at, but if one of these other clubs sold, I think it would be a different actual story. So yes, Jerry can hold on to that for now, but what got the Cowboys to that was they were the winningest franchise in the NFL at the time. At the time, they had 5 Super Bowls. When Jerry won those 3 after coming in and taking over, won those 3, the Cowboys had 5 Super Bowls, makes them the most valuable franchise. Well, guess what? Since then, the Patriots have passed them. The Steelers have either passed them or tied them.
Steelers have passed them. The Niners have passed.
Or right there with them.
The Niners and them were tied.
Yeah,
but
and then the Giants are like one behind. Like there's a lot of franchises that have caught up.
Yeah.
Since Jerry bought the team and since the 90s. So yes, he's been able to keep the value with them. But like I said, after 25 straight years of losing, 30 straight years of losing,
This would mark exactly 30
And then
years.
now if you start adding losing seasons, because at least the Cowboys used to be a 500 team or better, you know, even years they weren't making the playoffs, they were right around 500. They're not there anymore.
This will be
so if they start falling below 500, I don't care what anybody says. That value may stay the same, but it's not growing anymore for Jerry. And at that point, maybe that pisses Jerry off enough to do something. But until then, I got to be honest, I'm laughing. And I'm enjoying everything I'm watching because he is single-handedly going to sink the franchise. So good for him.
I mean, look, when it's all said, if they finish below 500 this year, which there's really no reason to think that they won't.
They will. They're going to finish below 500. They don't have the talent.
Right. Yeah,
they don't have the talent.
There's no reason to think that they won't finish below 500. It'll be the first time since before Tony Romo that they had back-to-back losing seasons.
That's what I mean. You start piling them up and you end up like the Giants.
What the difference, though, is that Jerry is a great businessman. And it doesn't matter where Dallas is in the standings or what they're doing. They are constantly talked about on national radio shows, national TV shows. They're always talked about. If you watched the pregame show for the Monday night game last night, you would have thought Arizona was some Pop Warner Pee Wee team. They literally got about 1 to 2 minutes of talk about them compared, like every 2 minutes for them was like 10 minutes for Dallas. It was so heavily lopsided, and it's because of what Jerry does, right? Everybody knows.
Eventually, the negativity is going to sink in because if you keep losing, people can't talk about how great your franchise is if you keep losing.
It's all going to boils down to simply this. Do people keep going to the games? It doesn't have to be Cowboy fans that go to the games. As long as they continue to sell out that stadium, he's making the money he needs to make off that stadium. As long as he continues, they just signed the contract with the NHL. Next year, they're going to do a frozen, the frozen 4 game or New Year's games or whatever that the NHL does. Mm-hmm. This next season, they're going to have the first one at Jerry World. They have NCAA tournament games there. He's going to make money hand over fist in that stadium with no problem.
We're talking about making it. There's two different arguments here because one is making money. I'm not denying whether or not the Cowboys are going to make money.
But he will keep the Cowboys in the news. That's what he does. And that's what you tell me when you used to work for the TV station. Bad news gets bad publicity is good publicity. Bad news gets good ratings. Jerry Jones thrives off of that. Look, I hope you're completely right. I've made it clear for the last 3 years. I will not buy a single piece of Dallas Cowboys merchandise. I will not pay money to go to any game that they play in. I will not pay extra money to watch them on a streaming service I don't have. I will do everything I can so that Jerry doesn't get my money. Simultaneously, he gets a fraction of every cable deal that the NFL has.
But it's not about the money that he gets in. We know he's a great business guy and he's going to make money. It's not about the making money or not. It's about whether or not this franchise is ever going to turn it around under him, and I don't think they will.
No, I don't think this franchise does anything until the man dies.
But that's what I'm saying. So, until then, I think what he's going to do is, yes, still talk, still whatever, still create the havoc that he creates. Yes, it could, publicity, whatever. But that publicity isn't going to necessarily make him money. And that's what I think. I think that the publicity he's going to bring in by continuing to lose, by having a second straight losing season, he backs it up next year with a third. Next thing you know, it's half a decade without winning. And then all of a sudden, all that news and all the whatever and all the chaos that he thinks he likes, when everybody is treating him like James Dolan and demanding that he sells the team and gets fired and this, that, and the other, it's going to be a different story. Now, James Dolan had to get out of the limelight. You say that, but everybody said James Dolan loved it too. Everybody said James Dolan thrived on it. He didn't, though, and he didn't want it.
So when's it break? It's 30 years since they've even been to an NFC championship game. They had a 6-year stretch where their quarterbacks were Quincy Carter, Drew Henson, and Drew Bledsoe.
I think
they were below 500 every single one of those years until he hired Bill Parcells. Then they get Tony Romo. They become a more successful team. Still can't break past the divisional round. They basically fall into Dak Prescott after the Romo injury. They basically fall into him, and pretty much this if Dak plays every game and they don't make the playoffs, this will be the first time since Dak Prescott has been the starter for the Cowboys and played the whole season that they won't make the playoffs. So when's it break? I mean, you've got
2 more
30,
years. I think
30-year track record.
I think if he has 2 more years of losing football, if they have 2 more years where they're under 500, I think it starts to break. Because I think at that point, right now, you hear some fans yelling and screaming. You don't hear all of them. You don't see people flying banners over like they were doing for the Giants. You don't see it hasn't gotten to that level because they haven't been that bad yet. They haven't been a decade level of bad like the Giants have been or the Jets have been. And we're going to get to my cousin here in a couple of minutes. I'm sorry I haven't called him yet. But it takes that. It takes at least like half a decade before you realize how bad you actually suck. And I think that's what it is because with Jerry, he could keep falling back on, oh, well, then I made the adjustments and the team got better. And look, oh, here's what happened like after I hired Parcells. And here's what happened after we brought in Romo. And here's what happened when we brought in like he's got a track record of showing like, oh, okay, well, I've made the change and the team's gotten better. He's making changes now and the team's getting worse. He's pulling the trigger now on deals and making the team worse. He traded away.
I wouldn't say the team got worse. I wouldn't say the team got worse today.
Not today.
Okay, but they got worse by trading Micah.
But I think they got worse for the future because, one, they have to go out and re-sign, like you said, Quinnen Williams, which means they're probably going to lose either Clark or the other guy they got. So you're losing something there. You're not really gaining. You're gaining one guy to possibly lose another, and you still got to pay them all. Like that kind of stuff. Like, it's a win, but how much of a win is it? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think today's moves move the needle at all for a Dallas win or not.
It doesn't catch them up to the Eagles. And outside of winning the division, they have
no shot.
Zero hope for the playoffs. If you look at the actual standings, several teams with losing records are ahead of them in the standings.
Yeah, tiebreakers.
And they're also the teams that they've lost to. Arizona, Chicago, just to name 2 of them, right? Like it's like I said, it's becoming numbing. Like I'm always going to be a Cowboys fan, right? I'm 40 freaking years old. I'm not changing my team at this point in my life. I may change my mindset of letting my daughter be a Cowboys fan. I may just say, you know what, girl? By the time she's 3, we'll know whether or not Jackson Dart truly is the real deal, and maybe I'll let her mom make her a Giants fan.
Speaking of that, though, you do have to get home to her. So I think that we spent 20 minutes on the Cowboys.
Oh my
if we
God.
don't get off of the Cowboys, you're never getting home.
No.
So
no.
and then they're gonna hate me, but I promise I didn't plan on doing 20 minutes on the Cowboys. To get into something another topic though, and to kind of roll off of this. Give me 1 second here, and we are joined by a special guest, my cousin Mike, joining us live to talk about the Jets. So I believe he should be joining us any second. Give me 1 second here.
I could hear you guys.
We got you now.
We got you now. What's going on, my man?
So we just kind of went over the Cowboys side of this first part of the trade here with Quinnen Williams going to Dallas. And as a Jet fan, getting into the second half of this here, big trades today by the Jets, everything from Sauce Gardner to Quinnen Williams. So got to hear your take on it. You are the biggest Jet fan I know. So tell me, hit me with it. You happy today? You sad today? You excited for the future? Do you like the moves? Hit us with it.
I mean, I'm indifferent about everything because, I mean, Sauce Gardner was one of the pillars in that draft with Joe Douglas
him, right?
and Robert Saleh.
Didn't they just?
Yeah, they paid
literally this all.
Yeah, they paid him and Garrett. Yeah, they paid him and Garrett Wilson the same week, actually one day after one another. You know, the same contract, a 4-year, $120 million, however it was structured.
So why get rid of him then?
That was, I guess, if you're a new GM, listen, the best way that I could put it is we weren't winning with you, so we can lose without you. We were losing with you, we'll lose without you. And we'll take the draft capital that comes with it. I mean, the Jets,
what'd you get back
the
for
past
draft
2
capital?
years.
What'd you get for Sauce?
2 firsts.
So for Sauce Gardner, you got a 2026 first, a 2027 first, and they picked up a wide receiver that was on the Colts named Adonai Mitchell. that name ring a bell at all? He was drafted in the second round in 2024. But just with the crowded room that the Colts have right now, he wasn't really seeing the field. You might remember him earlier this year. Do you remember that Colts wide receiver that busted coverage, was running down the field, and then fumbled the football right before he crossed the goal line? And instead of it being a touchdown, it was a touchback.
Yes,
That's Adonai Mitchell. That's who the Jets traded
What a
for.
way to remember somebody.
It's the best way that I can put it. Because it almost seemed like people were fumbling right outside of the goal line all the time, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know what was going on, but that's who the Jets traded for. So again, everyone's got a price tag, and nobody thought that Sauce was going to get traded. But when you get that Godfather offer, you have to listen to it. Getting 2 first-round picks is great. When you take a look at the Micah Parsons trade, and then you take a look at the Sauce Gardner trade, I think it's fair to say that an edge rusher is more valuable on a football team than a cornerback. Even though both of the positions are important and are of high importance to a football team, we can say that an edge rusher is more important. So to get that same level of capital back in a trade, you have to mark as a win. And again, the past 2 years, the Jets have won 7 football games, right? So you can't keep everybody, even though you want to. You can't keep everybody because we're not good. The Jets aren't good. So why not hit the reset button, which is what they did, and bring in all of that capital? Because not only are you bringing in draft capital, you're clearing up cap space for the next however many years, once you get Sauce off the books and Quinnen Williams off the books. So
What'd
as far as looking to the
future, did you get a first rounder for Quinnen?
Yeah. So what we got, the Jets got a second-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, and then a D tackle that was taken in the first round of 2024.
So you got more for
Mozzie
Quinnen Williams
Smith?
than they got for Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, we got 2 firsts and a D tackle. They got a first, a second, and a D tackle.
Practically the same.
But so the
part
really second round pick quick, this year is going to be a high second round pick.
It really is. But the part that like as a Cowboys fan I didn't like of the first round pick is in the deal it's stated that the Jets get the higher of whichever 2 first round of the 2 first round picks next year. So if Dallas has a worse record than Green Bay, they get Dallas's. If Green Bay has a worse record than Dallas, then they get Green Bay's. So the only thing for the Jets, my bad, real quick. The only thing with the Jets that it hurts them on is they cannot use that draft pick in any type of trade until until the next season's over. Because it has the draft order has to be set for that, so they can't use that first round pick to trade for somebody that's off season or during next season. They have to hold on to that draft pick until the draft order's set, and then they can trade it because they need to know what pick they're trading.
Okay. Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It handicaps you in order to use that move to your advantage because you don't know what pick is going to be higher until the draft order is set. So, I mean, I think that's something I don't think we've seen that in the NFL. That's more of like an NBA type of thing.
Yeah. I also don't think that they're looking to trade that pick, though. So, like, I think that they were okay making that move because I think they're trying to stock draft.
Like pretty much like Dallas is going to suck. So we'll end up with theirs.
Exactly. But I just think that they're trying to get as much draft capital, not necessarily to trade it out and bring back players, but to literally use them in the draft to draft the best talent they can to, move forward with.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair for the Jets to trade Quinnen Williams because he was drafted in 2019. And, I mean, this is going to be his 3rd rebuild, maybe. And, I mean, as far as an NFL lifeline goes, he's coming towards the end of it. So I think it was fair for the Jets to be like, hey, listen, we're hitting the reset button again. We're going to trade you, right? Where do you want to go? Type of thing. We'll trade you there so you can have a fresh start and rejuvenate your career and hopefully win a Super Bowl. I mean, did I think he was going to get traded to the Cowboys? It made sense, but I thought a team like the Chiefs were going to swoop in and take him to like bonafide that defensive line, or
They weren't giving up a
like the
haul
Eagles or
that the
something.
Cowboys gave up, though.
Well, and
Cowboys
that's the
F
thing.
Jets
When
A. We're looking at
well,
the
exactly
ESPN
when you
grades on it. They graded the Cowboys an F and the Jets an A.
well, yeah, because when you take a look at Quinnen Williams' contract, he's due for that extension not next offseason, but the next offseason. So he's going to finish this season, then he's going to finish next season. And after next season, that's when he's due to start negotiating for his new contract. So really, you're trading a second-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year, hoping that you can get the production out of Quinnen, which you will get, but you're also going to have to pay for his contract if you want to keep him around. So again, when it comes to cap hits for the Jets, they made the right moves today. You weren't winning. You weren't good. So you had to make those moves to free up a lot of cap space. It's just up to Darren Muji now on what he's able to do and what he's able to capitalize on when it comes to the offseason. And what he's done so far with the Jets, taking a look back at August, he traded for 2 defensive linemen. He traded for Harold Phillips from the Vikings for a 6th-round pick this year. Then he traded for Jawan Briggs, D tackle from the Browns, for like a 7th-round pick next year. Right? Those guys have been really serviceable for the Jets. Even though the Jets are 1-7 and they're not good, Harold Phillips and Jawan Briggs are playing, and they're getting good snaps with the Jets. And then a couple weeks ago, they traded for a nickel corner from the Titans named Jarvis Brownlee. And since Jarvis Brownlee got traded, his first game was with the Broncos, he's in Sharpie written himself into the nickel corner role, which is why you saw the Jets trade Michael Carter to the Eagles. And what the Jets are doing, what it seems like they're doing, is they're taking shots on players for low draft capital to come here, prove yourself, say, hey, we'll see what you got. If it doesn't work this year, we're going to let you walk. But you had potential. You got drafted pretty high, because in that Michael Carter trade with the Eagles earlier this week, or late last week, they got back Jonathan Mechie in that trade. Jonathan Mechie was drafted by the Texans in like 2023. Roll Tide. But then he was dealing with the cancer, so he had to step away from football for a little bit. It was a crowded room once the Texans picked up Stephon Diggs. So then he got traded to the Eagles. The Eagles, it was a crowded room. So there's not really much to know about Jonathan Mechie, so you're taking a flyer on him. And that's what they did with Adonai Mitchell and Mozzie Smith today. It was almost like, hey, we have the trades in place, but before we push this through, can you just add those guys to the trade? Like, you're going to get Sauce Gardner and you're going to get Quinnen Williams. Why don't you just add those like guys that you don't use into the trade and see what the Jets can get? With the late trades that they've had thus far, it's worked out. So, I'm okay with taking flyers on guys who are in crowded rooms that can't play. Mozzie Smith, though, isn't great at football, right? Like, he's not good, though.
No. I mean,
yeah, look, he's not good.
Look, what I'll say is this, and from what I've, from the beat writers and stuff in Dallas that I follow, like Dallas just really didn't know how to use him, and it doesn't help that in his first 2 seasons he had 2 different defense coordinators asking him to do 2 different things. I do believe if that you use him as a 2-tech interior defensive lineman, that's where he shines. Like, he really shouldn't be the guy, the 1-tech defensive tackle. I think he had a 1st-round grade going into the draft. Like, so he was a consensus 1st-round pick. It was just late, he was right around where Dallas got him, a little later in the draft. So I wouldn't just sit here and say, hey, like, dude sucks. I would say that Dallas really...
They didn't uncover him. They didn't know how to use him.
Yeah, like, so he still could potentially turn into maybe not an all-pro level player, but Pro Bowl maybe a Pro Bowl sub because somebody is making the Super Bowl or gets hurt and doesn't want to play in the Pro Bowl. But, like, he could be a good rotational piece. And I said this in our chat in YouTube. My favorite thing about what the Jets did today, whether you like the trades, don't like the trades, whatever. My favorite thing is that Woody Johnson is basically looking at his GM and his head coach and saying, I am going to allow you guys to build the team that you want to build and bring in the people that you want to bring in to make this team how you want it to be. And when you look at the successful franchises in the NFL, and you can go back as long as you want, right? Being a Cowboys fan, you go back to the early 90s Cowboys. Jerry Jones allowed Jimmy Johnson to have a major impact on how that roster was built, right? You look at the Patriots.
Right.
Robert Kraft allowed Belichick and the GM to put together the roster they wanted to put together, right? There were guys like Rodney Harrison was not some high draft pick, but he was a guy that fit what Bill Belichick wanted, right? When you do that as an owner and you put the power in your GM and your coach's hands to build their team, you're giving them the tools that they need to execute on what they believe is the right plan to get to success. And as a fan base, right, and as an owner, patience is part of that key, right? We talked about this, I think, last week with like, is it the right move to let go of Dable and Shane, right? Like, is that the right move after, or looking back on the past years of the Giants, realizing that one of their biggest issues is a lack of consistency at the GM and head coach position. So on one hand, yes, Dable's done enough to frustrate the hell out of people and say, get the hell out of New York. And simultaneously, he finally has his guy. Daniel Jones was given to him. Most of the roster was given to him. He's finally got his guy. He's got an Abdul Carter now. Like they're finally maybe putting pieces in place that maybe if they were allowed to do 2-3 years ago and move on from Jones, and even if it was move on from Barkley as well, just move on from all of them, maybe you're in a different position than you are now. And if Woody Johnson's willing to sit back and stay patient and give this, 3-4 years, you could be looking at a Jets team that finally makes Jets fans proud, right? They did it in Detroit, right? Dan Campbell and that GM come in, ownership steps back. Dan Campbell's first year, he was 5-11. Like, there was nothing that you were overly excited about, but they allowed him to build his team and put together the roster he wanted with the guys he wanted that he believed could be the team that he wanted to represent him on the field. And look what it's led to, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say. If you take a look at, it seems like everything that the Jets have done since Aaron Glenn got hired to right now, you take a page out of the Lions playbook and you're like, okay, it follows the same protocol, right? And you remember, I forget what draft it was, whether it was 22 or 23, where the Lions had 5 picks in the top 50. The Jets are modeling the same type of landscape with what they're doing right now, having 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. Odds are those picks are going to be top 50. Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think that they are. You get 4 true playmakers, what you hope to be difference makers coming into the building this year. And the next year you have 3 first-round picks, which I think is unique because the Jets position themselves in a way where clearly they're looking to bring in a quarterback. But let's say right now the Jets don't have the number 1 overall pick. Me personally, I love Fernando Mendoza. I think he's going to be stellar quarterback, and I would love for the Jets to draft him.
Is he the Patrick Mahomes reincarnated guy? I'm trying to figure out who this guy is. I asked Eric about it last week, and he didn't know who I was talking about.
He's Dylan Raiola out of Nebraska, I believe. Yeah, okay. Everything that this guy does embodies Patrick Mahomes. It's weird, like with the rib cage, the way that he jumps,
that weird hand thing that Mahomes does. Like it's like the weird, like it looks like he has a twitch going on. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and I know he's calling for the play. Like I know that's why he's doing it. It just looks so damn weird, and that kid mimics that all the time.
Yeah, and the only 2 people that do it are Patrick Mahomes and this kid. Yeah. It's weird, and he wants to deny it too. He's like, no, I have no idea what you're doing. This is just who I am as a person. Like, come on, no, it's not. It's okay if you look up to Patrick Mahomes, but come on, be yourself.
Yeah, or just own that you want to be exactly like him. I mean, I'm good with either one. Like, if you're gonna say, hey, I want to be exactly like Mahomes, like, well, 3 Super Bowls in your first 6 years or 7 years playing in the league. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being like him too.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but back to what I was saying, the Jets have positioned themselves in a way to where they have so much capital in the first 2 rounds of this year's draft, as well as next year's draft, that if they don't love a quarterback, in the first round. You could take one in 2027 because you have so much capital. Now, I think they're going to take a quarterback in 2026. Who it is, we'll leave it up to the draft gods and where the Jets will lie. Hopefully, it's the number 1 or number 2 pick. But again, if you don't absolutely love someone, you don't have to take them because you have so much high capital.
I got to stop you right there because what the Jets should absolutely not do is draft a quarterback in round 1. I don't care what draft it is, if it's 2026 or 2036. Stop drafting quarterbacks. You can't develop them. I mean, you look at what you did with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is flourishing away from you. You'd be better off trying to re-sign Sam Darnold after his short contract with the Seahawks or even trading for him than you would be trying to develop your own quarterback, because we've seen the experiment before, whether it be Zach Wilson, whether it be, you could go back for the last 25 years, name a quarterback that they've been able to develop. The best they've had is Mark Sanchez. Captain Butt Fumble. So that's about the I'll be honest. So I'm telling you, do not use your high draft picks on quarterbacks because you will not develop them. The Jets are a franchise like the Browns, like the Panthers, like other franchises out there. Outside of Joe Willie Namath, you've never developed a quarterback. And even him, if you look at his stats outside of the Super Bowl, wasn't that great. So I'm just going to say, I think the Jets need to pump the brakes on the quarterback aspect of things. Go out, sign a proven guy, and worry about all the other positions. Worry about all the other positions.
You want to know who that proven guy is? In my opinion, you know who that proven guy is?
Whoever
Listen,
it is,
the Bengals are winning football games
somebody.
with Joe Flacco. The Bengals are winning football games with Joe Flacco. Offload his contract to the Jets. We'll trade for Joe Burrow. We'll send you 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. We'll make it sweet and juicy for you. We'll take Joe Burrow.
That would be a better option than trying to draft one, because it doesn't matter. You can pull the best one out of the draft. If you are one of these teams that cannot develop them, I don't care. You are in quarterback purgatory. You are in quarterback hell if you're drafted by the Jets, the Browns, the Panthers. There are just teams out there that they cannot get out of their own way. And the Jets are one of them. Sign somebody. Do not draft somebody.
What's Joe Burrow's problem? He can't stay healthy because his offensive line is horrible. You put Joe Burrow behind a solid offensive line, all things considered, with the Jets. You got 2 young tackles. You've got Joe Tippmann playing guard right now because their center, it was a whole shebang. Before the season, I don't know if you guys remember, the Jets had a guard named Elijah Vera Tucker, who, again, was out for the year due to a tricep injury. So before the season even started, the Jets couldn't play with their entire starting offensive line. So Joe Tippmann moved from center to guard, right? My point being is you have a young core on the offensive line. If you need to pick up a center and a guard in free agency, you do it. And you put Joe Burrow behind this rock-solid offensive line. The reason why the Jets aren't moving the ball down the field is because Justin Fields is holding the football, and I could put on a jersey and play wide receiver for the Jets and be the number 2 next to Garrett Wilson. You know, they got nobody out there running routes to get open. I don't know. I mean,
they got Mechie now.
Bit. Well, that's the thing. You got Mechie, you got Adonai Mitchell. And are they going to come in here and be absolute playmakers? No, but I'd like to take a flyer on him, see if he can be the wide receiver 3, right? And then pick up a wide receiver in free agency or the draft, and then really build out your wide receiver room like that. That's why you make these moves. But I'm telling you, I would not rule out the Joe Burrow thing. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But do I think it's not going to happen? Also no.
All right. Well, that being said, I mean, I think that kind of wraps up. I went through the rest of the trades that happened, and none really jump out at me as, like, you know, super needle moving. So, unless there's anything that Dave, either you have or Mike, that you have, as far as the trade deadline goes, I think we're going to move into week 10.
Yeah, I mean, one of the trades I thought was interesting from the Jaguars, trading for Jacoby Myers for a 4th and a 6th. You lose Travis Hunter for the year with that knee injury, and Brian Thomas Jr., which, I mean, everyone can agree has been a major letdown this year, and then he rolls his ankle or whatever happens to him. I mean, the Jaguars are moving the needle themselves, you know, in the AFC South. So to make that trade, I think it was a little bit too much for Jacoby Myers. So you hope he comes in, but for Jacoby Myers to be your number 1 receiver because Travis Hunter's out and Brian Thomas Jr. is out with an injury, and he's also just not playing up to his full potential. I don't know is the answer that they think it is. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but I just don't think that was a smart move on
I'll be honest,
Jacksonville's
though.
part.
I'm going to disagree with you because I think it actually wasn't a terrible move. I mean, a 4th and a 6th isn't like you're giving up major draft capital. I mean, I really consider the first 3 rounds the major draft capital. After that, once you get into day 2 or get into day 3 of the NFL draft, I got to be honest, it's one of those things
you're
where
throwing shit against the wall.
and see, exactly. So for that, you get back a proven receiver that you know is at least going to try to help the ball club. And when and if Brian Thomas Jr. comes back, Jacoby Myers slides into a 2 role, and then you have, and next year when Hunter comes back, you never know. Maybe now you got some wide receivers and a good wide receiver room to build around. So I don't hate the move for the Jaguars because I don't think they gave up too much. If they would have gave up, say, a 3rd or a 2nd for Myers, I would have been like, A 4th and a 6th, again, like Dave just stated, you're kind of throwing ish at the wall.
It simply boils down to how quickly he learns the playbook.
Yeah.
If he learns it extremely quickly, then it's worth the trade, right? Because if he can learn it quickly, get on the same page as
and I'd have
Trevor
Faith
Lawrence,
for that just a little bit because of the fact that like he's been able to bounce around to a couple different teams now, and he's he's been able to figure it out, and he's been able to get on the same page. Like he was having an okay year there with the Raiders.
I like the Shaheed trade by Seattle. I think putting another guy that can take the roof off the defense is a nice move. With the way, like you said, Darnold's playing, and JSN is just the kid is quickly rising through the ranks of.
Without DK there, he's got more volume coming his way.
I like that, and I hate to say it, but the Eagles adding Jordan Phillips,
Jalen Phillips,
like the dude's a good pass rusher. The last 2 years, he's blown his ACL. So are you getting what are you getting from him? Like, can he stay healthy? But if he can. The Eagles' biggest issue on defense has been their pass rush. They're really not if you can stop the 2 defensive tackles from getting to your quarterback, their ends really haven't done anything for them all year long. So I think that's a nice move for the Eagles, and I hate to admit that because I think you have the sound drop somewhere in there for me. But that was a nice move, and
you mean this one?
Fuck the Eagles.
Yes, exactly that one. But the one thing I will say, and I in the group text I got a couple of my buddies, it is so infuriating to watch the Eagles have arguably the best GM in the entire NFL for the last several years and continuously signing players early so that the contract doesn't screw you in the long run, using the void years at the end of contracts to help spread out the money so that they have money to play with, making trades and moves to move players and add picks or move he plays the game as a GM the way it should be played. And the NFL is already filled with parity, but if every GM operated the same way Howie Roseman operates, the league would be even crazier with parity. It really would.
Yeah.
You would see even more trade. We talk about baseball, right? Buyers or sellers. That was a big theme for this year's NFL trade deadline. Are you a buyer or a seller? A buyer or seller? I think if every GM operated the way Howie Roseman, the NFL trade deadline would be just as crazy as the MLB trade deadline, the NBA. It would be an event. The NFL trade deadline for the majority of my life is arguably one of the most boring things that people talk about. 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, the NFL trade deadline. You're like, who gives a shit? The most you're going to see moved is some guy that sits on the back end of the bench, might as well be best friends with the ball boy because that's really all he hangs out with all for the 3 hours of a game. They get moved for a 7th round draft pick because some teams we'll take a flyer on and put them on our practice squad, see what might happen. That's usually the NFL trade deadline, right? So it would be interesting to see more GMs act that way. It would also be interesting to be a fan of a team that actually had a real GM. I've said this multiple times over the last couple of days. If Jerry Jones was just the owner, he would have fired Jerry Jones GM at least 6 to 8 times over the last 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least 6 to 8 times. He would have given about 2 to 3 year stretches, seen the shit show that he put together, fired him, brought himself in again, 2-3 years, fired him again. Like Jerry would have fired himself multiple times over the last 30 years, but he signs the checks, he owns the team, he's not going to fire himself, right? Like it just is what it is. I can only pray and hope that it's whenever he crosses into hell where he belongs. I mean, wherever the afterlife takes him. I can only hope that his son is smart enough to actually hire a real GM and operate this team the way we should. So, but somehow it's already 7:00.
Yeah, so I know. So we got to get into a couple picks here. So Mike, real quick before I let you go, I just got to ask you, this week with the Jets, after all these trades, after getting rid of Williams, after getting rid of Sauce,
they definitely win.
Are you beating the Browns?
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen because this is such a Jets thing to happen. It's going to be such a shit game, right? It's going to not be good. Dylan Gabriel is going to come out and he's going to lay an egg. And then at halftime, coming out of the gate, they're going to put in Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur Sanders is going to light it up. And he's gonna drive down the field in the fourth quarter to set the team up to kick a field goal and win. And all you're gonna hear is that, the Jets should have taken Shedeur Sanders, and you're gonna see everybody with their mock drafts from March and April saying, if the Jets took Shedeur Sanders, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, that is such a Jets thing to happen.
The Jets took Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if they'd have any wins right now. Like, I'll be honest, because he's not good.
But they didn't, and I'm telling you, I could see it so clearly. Shedeur Sanders coming out of halftime and just dicing up this Jets secondary who just traded Sauce and traded Michael Carter. So you have a secondary who really hasn't
less of a pass rush coming at you.
So you really have a defense that hasn't played together as a unit for Shedeur to come in here and just dice them.
We got to take the under for this game, right? 37.5. We got to take the under for this, right?
I would definitely take the under.
I mean, it's a low. That's a low total.
I mean, where's Fife when you need? Or where's
That's
Mike?
A 1918
Remember when Mike
game.
used to actually flush? He would literally get up in his house
and
go to the bathroom to flush the toilet for the toilet bowl pick of the week.
This is the shit show of the week.
This is the game that you would flush away and not. I mean, it's $46. Tickets as low as $46.
No. If you really wanted to go to this game as a Jet fan, I'm going to tell you what you do. You don't buy tickets. You go to the stadium and you tailgate and you have fun. And then as people are walking in and the game's kicking off, you go, I need a ticket. And I guarantee you will get in the stadium for $10 or less. I will promise any human being out there that if you do my method, go there. Tailgate. Have a blast tailgating with people because tailgating is half of the fun, in my opinion, of going to a game. Have a blast.
I mean,
don't even give a shit about getting a ticket. By the way, don't even give a shit about getting a ticket until literally kickoff. And then if you can't get a ticket for $10, which I guarantee you can, I guarantee you there is a guy in the parking lot that will sell you a ticket for $10. If not, go home and you'll enjoy the rest of your afternoon watching the games on Red Zone. But I'm telling you, if you go to this game, you will get in for $10 or less. I know this because I've gone into Giant games for $10 or less. I've gone into Giant Redskin games for $10 or less. Try the method.
I mean, if it were possible, the NFL could flex this game out to like HGTV.
What they should do is flex it to London. Flex it to London and put it at 9:30 in the morning.
Keep Atlanta and Indianapolis in the States, and let's just send the Jets
over there. And
they're playing in Germany. Hey, Germany, enjoy your first NFL game that we're ever going to play live in front of you.
Sprechen Sie Jets. No, get out of here. Get out of here with this game.
God.
This game's terrible, but we're going to pick it anyway. So Cleveland's given 2.5. We're using the ESPN bet line as always. Cleveland's given 2.5. Over under 37.5. Give me the Browns all the way. I'm taking the Browns. Giving them 2.5. I'm taking the Browns on a money line, and I am taking the under because as we talked about More than likely, there'll probably be 100 points scored in this game, but I'm still not
That's
betting
some
it. I'm taking the under.
Some dumbass nonsense. Brees Hall runs for like 250
So, Mike,
yards.
who you got in this game? Over under 2.5?
Over under 2.5.
It should be 2.5. It's 37.5. Cleveland's giving 2.5. Who you like in this game?
Well, just historically, the Jets have never come out of the bye and been good. So I'm taking the Browns. I'm taking the spread. I'm taking the under, right? But I am going to put a Brees Hall rushing touchdown because he was electric going into the bye against the Bengals, and I think that they're going to capitalize on what they discovered.
He was the guy getting traded today. I thought when we looked back on the trade deadline today, I thought he was the guy who was going to get moved because he's on a contract year, and I thought that they could probably get some value with the way he's been running. So I expected him to get moved, so I was a little surprised he didn't. But Dave, what do you think about this game?
Oh, we're clear. We're
sweeping.
Hit the repeat button. Yeah,
Sweep.
We're sweeping. That's a game. I think that game maybe makes 2 appearances on Red Zone all told.
Well, this is an important game for the draft. You got the 2-6 Browns who are looking for a quarterback, and Dylan Gabriel isn't the answer. And you got the 1-7 Jets who are looking for a quarterback, and Justin Fields isn't the answer. So as far as like draft implications go, this is a really important game. So really, whoever wins is kind of pushing themselves out of the top.
Whoever wins is dooming another quarterback to hell. Is what they're doing. Yeah. They're just literally the loser of this game gets
ways. Like the winner and loser, whoever gets drafted by them is not. I mean, if it's a defensive player, right, then maybe like there's a future there, but not when it comes down to winning.
What do you think about this though? As a surprise game of the week, and it's one that I look at, and it shouldn't be a surprise game of the week, but it is because at the beginning of the year, you would have seen this game and not thought twice about it. Now you're looking at it, and it's got division title implications for both teams. I'm throwing this game out there. Patriots at Bucks. Bucks fighting for the division, 6-2 on the year. Patriots 7-2 on the year, leading that division because right now they have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. So this game has a lot of implications to it. Tampa laying 2.5, over under 48.5. To be honest, I like what the Patriots have done this year. I think Vrabel is an underrated coach. I think he's a very good coach. He was able to have success with the Titans. I think he's going to have a lot of success with the Patriots. I mean, he was a 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. He wants to be there, and the team is playing hard for him. So, I mean, listen, 7-2, Drake May is having a resurgence, a career year. I know only in year 2, but has really stepped up his game under Vrabel. But all that said, I like the Bucks at home. I think the Bucks technically need this game more, and that's hard to say because the Patriots are fighting it out with the Bills. So I mean, I hate to say that, but I actually think that the Bucks, this is an important game for them to win. They're at home. You know, it's not a division game.
They should have Godwin back. They should have Bucky Irving back this week. Like,
yep.
That's been what killed.
And Rashad White, who's, by the way, I think he's even doing a live signing right now with somebody I watch. But he's been running the ball really well too. So I mean, they've been playing good football. And I'll be honest, the thing that's pushing me over the edge is that they're home. So I like the Bucks at home. I like them laying the 2.5. If it was 3, I might have thought more of a push with this one because I think it could be a field goal game. I expect the Patriots to keep it really close. But give me Tampa laying the 2.5. Give me Tampa on the money line. And give me the under because I think both teams are good, but 48.5, 24-21 or, 27-21 type game, like you're still on the under. That still puts you on the under. So I kind of like the under in this game. Give me it that way. Dave, I'll throw it to you first.
So I'm gonna go with you on the Bucks, giving the 2.5. I really agree with pretty much everything you said. I think the Bucks coming into this game probably the healthiest they've been all season. Really helps as well. Sad with the Mike Evans injury. The streak of 1,000-yard seasons is gonna end. But that's it. I was like, but yeah, give me the Bucks, giving the 2.5, and I am actually going to go with the over. New England's really doing a good job moving the ball, and Tampa Bay coming off of a bye week, I think is going to come out with a good game plan to be able to score some points on on that New England defense. It's actually been playing some really, really good defense recently.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tail on. Guys, I don't know if you know, but the Patriots haven't allowed a running back to rush for more than 50 yards against them all season, right? So it's going to be cool to see Tampa at home, if Bucky Irving comes back and he's healthy, how they're able to pick apart that Patriots defense, or if the Patriots run defense stamps their flag in the ground and says, I don't care that you're Bucky Irving and you're the Bucs offensive line, you're not getting more than 50 yards on us. I think that's going to be an awesome matchup. But again, I do agree with you guys. I think it's going to be, I'm taking the Bucs spread. I do like the over in this game. I just think it's going to be a high volume game. You know, a lot of passing touchdowns. I think Emeka Egbuka and you know, everyone that they've got over there, Stephon Diggs, is just going to be a very high volume game. So I'm taking the Bucs spread. I'm taking the over.
All right, cool. Rolling into the next game. Another game that could be a game of the week. Division matchup, definitely division implications. Both teams playing good football. Rams at 49ers. Rams laying 3.5, which is a little surprising to me because they're on the road in San Fran. So that would mean on a neutral field, this would be like a 6.5 point game. I don't think the Rams are a 6.5 point favorite, I'll be honest. So I think that the 49ers can keep it within a field goal at home. So give me the 49ers at home getting the 3.5. Give me the Rams on the money line, though, because I think the Rams could win the game outright. I just think it's going to be a close division game. I don't expect blowouts on division games. And then the over-under in this one is 49.5. One of those ones where, again, division matchup, I'm going to go the under because I think they're going to, both teams know each other really well, and points are going to come at a premium. So give me, again, just to recap, 49ers getting the 3.5, the Rams on the money line, and the under 49.5. And Mike, I'll throw it to you next.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating how the 49ers every year seem like they just get decimated with injuries, yet they're still able to go out and just coach a better game than who's across from them. However, Sean McVay is one of the most brilliant minds in football. So I agree with you. I'm going to take the 49ers spread, but I'm going to take the Rams money line. I'm going to go under. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy game because both of their defenses fly around the field. Even though San Francisco is dealing with backups everywhere, they're still playing great football. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to have a good game. I would like to see what Kyren Williams, maybe Blake Corum can do with the Rams. So I'm taking the under here.
All right. Dave, what do you got?
We just press repeat because I am literally exactly with you guys. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think you could probably see around like 24-21, right? But that's it. I think the Rams win this game. I just don't think they win by 3.5. I think 3 is about what you can expect.
All right. Then why don't you kick us off we got 2 games left. We're going to do the Sunday night and the Monday night game. Sunday night, Steelers at Chargers. This is another really good game. I mean, Steelers just consistently good year after year. It doesn't matter who they bring in the QB, what's going on there. Just consistently good. Chargers also playing good football, but had, I believe, a pretty hot start, and then have kind of, been good, but not as good as that hot start. So yeah, I don't know. This game's an interesting one. The Chargers are home. They are a 2.5 point favorite at home. Again, that would mean that on a neutral field, they'd consider the Steelers a 0.5 point favorite, and that's a bit interesting to me.
I think Vegas is riding pretty high after what Pittsburgh's
and
defense,
our favorite line
44.5, baby. There's at least one.
44.5.
But with Pittsburgh dismantled Indy on Sunday, like they really that defense just put them to shame. Right, Daniel Jones looked like New York Giants. Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah.
Jonathan Taylor didn't even touch. I don't even think he touched the end zone. Like it was
bad.
It was
5.
God, Mike.
What do you have, 5 turnovers?
Yeah. Jones had 2 picks. Or no, 3 picks, 2 fumbles. Yeah, so 5. Yeah, I think he had 5. Yeah. So they dismantled. So I think Vegas is riding a little high on Pittsburgh right now, probably higher than you should because their defense really hasn't been that good this year. Real quick, I do want to shout out Chris. He's throwing some picks in for us. He took the Rams and the over. So I want to make sure, and he took Tampa in the over, so I want to make sure Chris gets recognition.
Absolutely.
For his
Shout out
well.
to Chris, and thanks for throwing that in the chat.
But when I look at this game, right, the Chargers have been, for a 6-3 team, have shown moments where they've looked great and moments where they've looked really bad, and a lot of in between, right? Like where you really still aren't sure. And after 9 games, you really feel like you should know what a team is, and I still don't really feel like we know what the Chargers are. They lost all last week to a bad injury. I don't think he's playing this week. I could be wrong on that. Honestly, that's the most frustrating part when we do picks. Like, I'm very glad me and you don't actually put money on the picks we make today, because it's not till Friday that you even have an idea of who's playing, who's not playing, injury reports.
No, and
like,
this
all that
goes
stuff,
for anybody.
like,
You really shouldn't be putting Sunday bets in on a Tuesday.
Yeah, like
give the week, because you got to see what happens in practice. God forbid somebody goes down and knee injury happens on Wednesday or Thursday. You make a bet on Tuesday. You're asking for rushes. Make it on Sunday morning.
Yeah, like do yourself a favor.
Who knows? Your starting corner and starting D tackle could get traded same day.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So
like
you
if you
can't
put
place
money
those
on the
bets.
Jets today before the trade deadline, you're like, oh shit, I want my money back. And Vegas is like, no.
Definitely.
But
no.
look at it, and like Pittsburgh's kind of the same thing. I think you're watching. This is going to be the tale of 2 very similar teams, very inconsistent on both sides of the ball. Have shown great flashes and have shown some really, really bad film as well. But with that being the case, I just like Justin Herbert and the way they're spreading the ball out a little bit more, right? Like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is kind of like DK Metcalf or tight ends. Like that's all I got, right? And if the run game works, oh thank God. If it doesn't work, I am screwed. And the other big difference is that Justin Herbert can still make plays with his legs. Aaron Rodgers' days of doing that are washed, okay? And don't get me wrong, the man still throws a beautiful football, but his ability to escape pressure is pretty much over with. Herbert still has that ability, and he's still very, very good at it. So I'm going to take the Chargers, give them the 2.5, but I am without a doubt taking the over on this one. No question in my mind, the over is the way to go, and the Chargers giving the 2.5. I think that's how I'm going.
Perfect. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a shootout. Fantasy football call out. Oronde Gadsden. You guys know who that is? Tight end for the Chargers.
Yeah,
and absolutely lighting it up for me.
I was only able to pick him up in one of my 3 leagues, but I made sure to get him somewhere.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, I like how the Chargers have been able to pivot as far as running the ball. With Omari and Hampton going out on IR for a couple weeks. I can't remember the guy's name, Kamani Vidal. He's been running the ball great. I'd like to see how he's going to run the ball against the Pittsburgh's rush defense, but I think I'm going to take the under in this game. I'm not going to take the over. Can't give you a logical reason why. Something's just telling me to take the under. So that's where I'm going to go. But I do like, and I think I'm going to take the Steelers here as well. Take the Steelers money line.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going the other way. I'm going the Chargers. Give me the Chargers laying at 2.5. Give me the Chargers on the money line, and give me the over. I just think that Rodgers' inability to escape and the Chargers being at home, I just like the Chargers a little bit more in this game. I think I might have flipped it if it was in Pittsburgh, but in San Diego, not San Diego, in LA, I should say, at SoFi.
I so wish they went back to San Diego.
Yeah. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go with the Chargers all the way and give me the over, because I just want to root for points. If it's Sunday night and I'm sitting there watching a football game, I want to root for some points.
If you're going to keep me up past 11 o'clock and I got work,
give me excitement.
Give me something fun to watch. Shout out Chris going Chargers, but taking the under.
So it looks like I'm kind of, or did we split there? Did you go over?
No, me and you are Chargers and over. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right, cool. So shout out to Chris again. Keep throwing those picks in the chat. Anybody else out there in the chat, throw your picks in as well. We'll get them shouted out. Appreciate everybody participating. And then that brings us to the last game of the week. Monday night game could be considered a game of the week as well. I mean, listen, this is as good of primetime matchups as we've had recently between the Chargers and the Steelers, and now the Eagles at the Packers. Both teams kind of need it, but I feel like the Packers need it more. I feel like they got to keep more pace in their division. The Eagles have a little bit more breathing room. if they lose this game, they're like, oh well, the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys are in the rear view mirror. So
they're about 3 exits back on 80.
With that said, I kind of, but that being said, though, Jordan Love hasn't looked great this year. And he hasn't looked like
the whole Green Bay team's been very inconsistent, but so's the Eagles. That's talking about a similar matchup with Pittsburgh and the Chargers. It's the same thing in this matchup. Like Philly has had moments where they look like world beaters, and you're like they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champions. And then there's moments where you look at them like I could see you losing 3 in a row. Like Green Bay, I mean, last week, they couldn't get out of their own damn way. Like it was we were in the fourth quarter. They had 6 points.
And I mean, it's bad too when you go out and you draft the first wide receiver in the last 25 years in the first round. That kid has he even touched the ball this year.
He got injured in that game.
But I'm just saying, he's barely done anything all year for a first round pick that you thought you were going to get out of him. Especially as a Green Bay fan, I would have been pumped about it. We finally got a weapon. We finally went out and spent some draft capital and brought in somebody.
I think he's the least. I think he's done the least amount out of all the first round wide receivers. He's probably I think he's arguably on the bottom of
it's bad. So I don't know what's going to change there, but I think something's got to change for the Packers. Like you said, he got injured, so maybe some time off and learning the playbook and whatever might help him. I don't know. But that being said, somebody's got to win this game, right? So we're talking about 2 teams that are Packers haven't been playing to potential with Eagles. They got cushion, so they're not worried. They're playing it a little bit more, just casual. That being said, give me the Packers at home. I'm going to take the home team again here. I just think that Lambeau makes a little bit of a difference. 2.5 point spread. Give me Green Bay all the way. And again, I'm going to root for points. The over-under is 45.5. We almost hit that magic number again. But yeah, give me the over. So I'm going Packers all the way in the over. Dave, what you got?
I'm really hoping you're right. And I mean, Philly coming off of a bye. I'm gonna hit repeat. I'm gonna go with you. I think give me Green Bay, give them the 2.5, and give me the over. I think the main thing is that when you go back and you look at the games that Jalen Hurts has had to play where Micah Parsons has been on the other side. Micah Parsons gets him at least once a game. Yeah. Every game he's played against Jalen Hurts, he's gotten him at least once. And I think half of the times he got him, he forced the fumble, right? He could be the guy that makes the difference in this game by simply just getting Jalen. Because it's very, Jalen Hurts, I say it all the time, I think he's a running back playing quarterback. I'm never going to get off of that hill because I don't see enough to change my opinion. But Jalen Hurts is a guy that if you give him a perfectly clean pocket and he's just chilling, he'll pick you apart. But you don't make it to the NFL if you can't do that. If he can't run and the pocket collapses, that's where he makes his mistakes. I think Micah Parsons and that Green Bay defense is going to be able to do enough to force him into a mistake or two. And I think the Packers have enough on the offensive side of the ball to outscore Philly by 3. So that's probably the simplest way I could break it down. And I do want to shout out Chris. Chris is like, if the refs don't cheat, I'll take Green Bay in the over. If the refs get their way, Philly will win.
He's speaking from experience. I mean, you look at what happened in that Giant-Eagle game just a couple weeks ago. We got screwed. So whether it was the non-fumble, whether it was the...
Do it again.
Fuck the Eagles.
Whether it was the pass interference, whatever it was, we got screwed. So that being said, totally agree with Chris. Mike, who you got in this game?
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers as well. I just think winning this game for Green Bay means more than winning this game for Philly because the NFC North is tight right now. I mean, the Vikings are the worst team in the division and they're 4-4. It's tight at the top. So you got to win these tough games to seal yourself at the top of the division. So when it comes playoff time, you can get that fair seeding instead of fighting for a wild card. So I think this means more to Green Bay. So they're going to fight and claw and they're going to get this win. I am going to take the over. I do think it's going to be a shootout. I think, like you said, we're going to get a controversial tush-push that we're going to be yelling at the TV because the guard's false starting, but they're not calling down and throwing the flag, and then they're going to get a first down, and it's going to be a touchdown, and we're all going to be yelling at the TV going, how'd they miss that? But I think the Packers come out victorious here. I think winning this game just means more for their season.
I would agree. If you're also out there listening and you're in Jersey, voting booths close at 8 o'clock. Get out there, let your voice be heard. Everybody has that right, and I got to support that. That's actually why me and Eric are like trying to like get to the end because Eric still has to go vote.
Gotta go do it too,
I got a 25-minute ride to get home and get submit my vote. So like I'm like literally going to be back against the wall. But Mike, I gotta say it was great having you on here, man, and I definitely think. If Tuesday night's aligned for you and you can call in again and join us, I think that would be great. It's been really good having you on here with us. And Chris, you in the chat, he's got Jacobs going for 110 and 2 tutties, so I hope I'm not going against Jacobs in fantasy. So I'll throw that out there real quick.
Shout out to Chris, too, who's been super active in the chat all night tonight. So thank you to Chris. Thank you to John, who joined in the chat as well.
Yep, John
thank you to
as well.
anybody else. Shout out to Janice if she's listening, or Amanda, or Marissa, or Julie
speaking of
Jules, or
Amanda,
any of them out there.
Amanda wanted me to point out she jumped you in the standings and leads the league in points. So she wanted me to point that out after this week's iHeart
That's
football
okay.
standings. So
I'm still the reigning defending champion.
the
who's
only undefeated guy I've ever seen win.
No
a
rating.
championship.
undefeated in fantasy last year.
So,
Undefeated.
All right. I'm at the point where I'm looking at 750
Yep.
arrival time. So,
Exactly.
Mike, appreciate you. Everybody out there, appreciate you. D Hastings 23 on Instagram, David Hastings 23 on X, formerly known as Twitter. We got our unofficial co-host Louis Aussie Dude
Yep.
on Instagram.
On Instagram, you can find me at The Living Legend on X. You can find us at Champscast on YouTube. You can find us at Champscast now on TikTok as well. We'll be streaming live there soon. Shout out to Tim, who's helping me get that ready, and shout out to Tim just in general as being a big help to the show. We appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you joining us. And yeah, look forward to talking more football with you. It was great, and love you, cousin. So yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Talk soon, guys.
All right,
Later,
thanks. So yeah, that was my cousin Mike, and thanks to Dave, thanks to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We love you
vote.
guys. And until next time, I mean, no, not that one.
More than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that?
Next time.
I want better fucking execution.
Next
Hey,
time, my
when
friends.
time flies when you're having fun, no question about it, and we always have a good time. Appreciate everybody, and yeah, I'm gonna have to book it out of here, but at least it's not because we pissed each other off.
Boom. Hey. Yeah. Don't be afraid to live like a champ. Boom.